Good evening. This is Dave Hannington. Our devotion tonight comes from Matthew chapter 6, and we're going to be looking at verses 24 to 34. This is where Jesus is speaking to his disciples, and we find the similar account in Luke chapter 12 and verses 22 to 31. But let's look at Matthew 6, 25 to 34 together. The heading in the NIV is "Do not worry. Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet, I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. So we're living in uncertain times, and this ties in nicely with what Phil shared with us on Sunday. If you recall, he was sharing from Philippians chapter 4, and he was saying, do not be anxious about anything. Do not be anxious about your marriage, your home, your job, your family, your finances, or even your health. Things might feel out of control, but we should not panic. And just to paraphrase the points that he made in his sermon were, the Lord is near, he will return shortly. Present your request to God in every situation. He is in control. Pray with thanksgiving. Peace will overcome you. Think about positive things, and God works in all things for the good of those that love him. So, do not worry about your life, because it is in God's hands, and those are good hands. Do not be anxious about the future, how you will live tomorrow or next year. And what happens if we retire and have no job? What happens if we don't have wealth to leave behind for those when we're gone? So we worry about tomorrow. Just too, as we must not boast about tomorrow, so we must also not be concerned about tomorrow. Instead, we must seek our strength through daily prayers and thanksgiving, as we have indeed seen in Philippians chapter 4. So in our text in verse 27, can we add a single hour to our life by worrying? On the contrary, medical science shows us that worrying and stress can indeed severely impact the quality of our lives. Even the flowers and the grass of the fields, although they're something beautiful, they do not last forever, and when they die, they're either thrown into the fire for fuel, or they're just cast aside. How many of us envy others for the clothes they wear, or the cars they drive, and yet we worry because we don't have such material things? If we care about his righteousness and eternity, we can, however, trust God to take care of all our daily needs. So, does this mean we can sit back and do no work and relax as God will provide all our needs? Certainly not. We must use our God-given talents to provide for ourselves for today and tomorrow. However, we must focus on things above and not let the worldly ways or possessions trap us into anxieties. In verse 34 we see, they have no care for tomorrow will take care of itself. So we must take the troubles of the day as they come. We should deal with each one and then move on. Do not linger in the past of what if or could have been or should have been, or only if I'd done something differently. Similarly, do not worry about tomorrow, the unseen, and the things that we cannot change. Are we only concerned with the things of the world? Does the local evening news depress us? Do we perhaps wish we had this or that material thing? In 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 7, we're encouraged to cast all our anxieties on him because he cares for us. The only way we can find true peace and assurance is by turning to our Father in heaven. So our challenge this evening is to fully place our trust in the Lord for everything and in every circumstance. God bless.